technically, correct me if I'm wrong, he said Houston would be his last stop, right?
Yeah, he did say Houston.
He didn't say University of Houston. He said Houston. So Rocket fans, you still have hope, but I'm going to pour cold water on that hope. Coach Sampson's not going back to the pros. He'll be at the Houston Cougars until he decides to retire.
It's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, I think his contract, what it says, is set up for him to retire at Houston and his son to be the coach in waiting. So that's kind of submitting, where your home is going to be. Like eventually, he wants to see his son follow in his footsteps, be the head coach of Houston, and I'm sure after he win the championship, get a statue outside of Houston. And so, I'm not surprised with that at all.
Yeah, I do wonder if we can knock on wood, if you got wood at the house, if the Cougs win the championship this year, would he decide to retire after this season because he'd have the championship? Just something to put out there. I don't believe so.
I don't know. I don't think so. And you want to know why? Because I think there'd be a competitive. Yeah, there'd be that competitive aspect where, again, going back to what we said after Wednesday's game against Tulane, where we kind of got to see, really, if you look at it from a car analogy, if you pop the hood, you kind of got to see the wiring in Kelvin Sampson's brain when it comes to how competitive he is. There's a part of it that, the Big 12 challenge, I think there should just be a part of it where he would want to defend his national championship. If it were to, obviously, we're getting too far ahead, but if that were to happen.
And I think he also, the competitor he is, he'd like to win in the Big 12. He's coach. He said it sometimes, but off the record, coach gets a kick out of shutting haters up. Okay, so if he won in the Big 12, he could really say to all the, now what you got to say. You said we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. Well, we just won the Big 12. Case closed.
And not only that, you take into the aspect of his son, who's going to be the head coach in waiting, just leaving him his first year in the Big 12. I think it would be a smoother transition for Coach Sampson to lead the program in a conference he's used to. And like Chris said, and you guys said, prove that he can win and do all the things that we expect for him to do this year. And have that transition a little more easier versus winning like we're talking about this year and then retiring. So I don't think so. I think he has more time to go. And I think he's focused on this year. I got high hopes.
I think we do have high hopes. Excuse me, Andy, go ahead.
Go ahead. What I was going to say, at the end of the day, it puts an end to, and again, you can't really put much stock in it, but every time there's a coaching opening, in particular, I'm referencing that school in Orange, burnt orange at that, by the way, October 21, that Let's Rage Coogs will still be there when it comes to Red Bull. When the football team goes up there, or not even goes up there, goes to TDECU Stadium and beats Texas. But I digress from that point. But it kind of puts an end to it. I think for the longest, and Chris, Dayon, we always we ever thought hard for Kelvin to leave the Cougars for another college program. It didn't really make sense, especially just hearing him talk every time he mentions how whenever he first took over Houston, obviously where the status of the program was, and then when he spoke about it most recently in a Zoom last week where he said it took him a while. It took him a while to kind of jump 2 feet into being the head coach at the Houston Cougars and taking over the program. And, he said once he put 2 feet in, he was bought in, he was all in. And again, the resurgence, and it kind of connects it. And out of all the places where Houston could have clinched the regular season championship, what a coincidence that it was in North Carolina of all states. And you're kind of to have a behind the scenes peek behind the curtain here. Chris, Dayon, you guys know, usually when the Cougars are on the road and they finish a game, they are fast. Like they are trying to get out as soon as possible to get back into Houston. But today it was different. Kelvin, I don't know how many different people there were here that came to support Kelvin Sampson, the Houston Cougars, and there was a swarm of people that were just waiting as soon as Kelvin finished his post-game news conference in the East Carolina room he was out here, but he came back out on the court, and there was a lot of people, and he waited to meet every single one of those people. And it wasn't just, take a photo opportunity or something. He was having conversations with them. He was speaking with them. He was taking the time to just, again, being able to take time out of their day. They came out here in support and kind of connecting with them and giving it back. He left literally 5 minutes before we went on air, which over an hour after the game had ended. That's not how things usually go. And again, it kind of brings it full circle with the importance that just North Carolina has. But again, to go back to those comments, kind of full circle of where his career is.
He's home in front of friends and family. So I think clinching the title, the conference championship at home, is extra special for him. Coach Sampson is a huge family person. He loves his family. We can look at the program and see how important family is to him. So I'm not surprised at all. I know you're not surprised, but to have so many people that he knows and family come see him and support him and remembers him through tough times and stuck with him. So him taking time after the game to speak with them and touch base with them and reconnect with some of them is a testament to who he is as a person.